getting to the Pistons. The Pistons get a big win over the Cavs. I thought the NBA did try to take that game from them. You know, they did try to take that game from them, man. The refereeing was horrible. I mean, really, they should. You know, I mean, I hate to say this. I don't think it was unintentional. But Devon Mitchell, when he made Tobias Harris fall, he grabbed his knee. So, you know, I don't think it was intentional. But when he fell, he grabbed his knee. He grabbed his knee, bro. And that's why he fell and hurt himself the way he did. So I don't think Donovan Mitchell a dirty player. I'm a fan. You know, but, you know, I'll leave that to y'all. And I know Durham been catching some flack. But I feel like he's been playing well. You know, I think, you know, the whole thing, you know, raised awareness when J.B. Bickerstaff said that, you know, you can't let Donovan Mitchell out-rebound you. I feel him. But you going up against two talented bigs. You held Evan Mobley to 1 rebound. Jared Allen, you know, he was persistent, but they really was getting second chance points after second chance points on the Cavs. Him and Stu, you can't really quantify what they did down there. Cade really coasted through the game. He got everybody else involved. I love the quote that J.B. Bickerstaff had that they repeated during the game, where they basically said that Cade Cunningham is able to eat without taking food off his teammates' plate. Think about it. At one point, you know, he was like 5.7 assists somewhere late in the second half or early in the first half, excuse me. And he making his teammates better. Duncan eating, Tobias eating, you know, everybody is able to eat. You know, Durham really ain't, you know, points-wise. And that's how they really want to judge players, by the amount of points that they score. That's how they want to judge you. But realistically, I think Durham down there banging. He got tough matchups. He doing well. Stu, he getting some fouls, but he down there banging, changing shots, tipping. Yeah, they doing a hell of a job. I don't care what nobody said. Yeah, Durham might have lost the ball, a couple turnovers, got out rebounded here, but they down there banging, you know, and they down there controlling the paint. They imposing their will on on Cleveland. And you know, Karis LeVert came in when Asar Thompson was in trouble, and he was a pest defensively. He was on their ass defensively. Karis LeVert did their thing, but Cade is able to have a positive impact without scoring points. And then when it's he like Chauncey, bro. He reminds me a lot of Chauncey. Like when Chauncey got to Detroit and Rick Carlisle and them kind of really got to him and was like, look here, we know you can score. And Chauncey was one of those, them rarities where you see a combo guard turn into a pure point guard. Chauncey was like the number 2 or 3 pick out of Boston. He was a scoring guard, but you got to remember, one of the reasons Chauncey Billups didn't succeed in the NBA is because combo guards wasn't a thing. When you was Chauncey 6'3", you had to go to point, and you couldn't score points like that. You had to just be a traditional point guard. And Chauncey, late in his career, I remember he had a quote. He talked about Terrell Brandon when he was in Minnesota. And Terrell Brandon, he said, had like 15, 17 points. They might have had the lead. And he was like Terrell Brandon, and he was from like Portland, him and Damon Stoudemire. Terrell Brandon was one of my favorite guards. He ended up getting hurt. Cleveland, Minnesota. And he was like, why you mad? You got 17 points. He was like, man, if KG don't come in the half with at least 17, 20 points, I didn't do my job as a point guard. And, at some point, I think at that point it started to click for Chauncey. We got to Detroit, Flip. I think not Flip, but Rick Carlisle, Larry Brown really made him into that complete point guard. So he understood, hey, look, I know when I need and when I need not to score. And Cade come into the league with that. If he know, hey, man, I got to go get 50 tonight. Oh, guess what? If I can just coast and get everybody else involved and I can turn it up in the fourth and still end up with 20 and 10 and we win and have a big fourth, cool. And when you play like that, guess what? You able to conserve energy. Well, I can take the ball out of my hands, let Tobias rock out. I can let Asar take the ball. I can let Danish take the ball. And guess what? By him not having a high offensive usage rate every game when he can fall back and do his thing, guess what end up happening? He end up can play defense at a high level, also conserve some energy. And then in the second half, if they need him, they need him. If they don't, I just keep facilitating, falling back, doing the little things, rebounding, making the hockey assists, making the assists here and there. So he understands at a young age how to control the maestro as a point guard. He's a true point guard. The only one I would say is above him as a true point guard is Tyrese Halliburton. That's because he made it to the promised land. He a hella fire player. And they should have been on the same. They backcourt really should be Halliburton and Cade. I still don't understand that from my point of view. That's when I was doing draft spotlight. No way in any way, shape, form or fashion can you say Killian Hayes is anywhere near the caliber of player of Halliburton coming out of Iowa State. But you know what? If we got Halliburton, maybe we don't end up with Cade. So, you know, it is what it is. Two hellified ass dudes, right? But, you know, kind of talking about, you know, Cleveland, they still don't get it. Evan Mobley, 1 rebound. They need to play more through Evan Mobley. He shouldn't be just shooting 3-pointers. And Evan Mobley, one day he posted, I think, Tobias, and the other night and had an easy 2. That's where he need to be at. But I guess their whole thing is Jared Allen already down there. We want to play four on the perimeter. But Evan Mobley's skill set, you can play, you know, high post, low post with Jared Allen. They should be doing more pick and rolls with Evan Mobley, pick and pop. Until they figured out that they got to get the ball, they got to play through Evan Mobley a lot more, and that's going to make it easier for Harden. That's going to make it easy for Mitchell. They're going to lose. Mitchell had a good game. And one thing I like about Mitchell, he don't need the ball to be effective, but there may need to be a change in philosophy for this one. There may need to be a change of philosophy. You might be like, what should that be? They might need to put the ball in down for Mitchell's hands and allow him to create and move Harden off the ball a little bit more. And I think if you put the ball more in Mitchell's hand, yeah, he's going to be a little bit more tired. He's going to be a little bit more banged up. Or this crazy thing about it is Schroeder need to be closing games up by playing more minutes and have Schroeder had a ball in his hand, allow him to create and let Mitchell be off the ball. Schroeder a better defender than James Harden, you know, better playoff performer than James Harden. I think he proved that in one series last year with the Pistons and the Knicks. He was what Tobias Harris was to his last year. That's why a lot of people wanted to bring Dennis Schroeder back because, you know, imagine you have Schroeder and Dennis Jenkins with Cade closing games. That might be enough to win a title this year. Schroeder's a hellified playoff performer, man. I like Schroeder. I like feisty. I liked him when he was in the playing in high school in the Team USA game against the Team USA with an international team, whatever team he's playing for. I like Schroeder. Schroeder been a nice player, and he smacked the shit out your bitch ass. So, yeah, I was mad we got rid of Schroeder. I thought that was a genius pickup by Trey, but the money, I heard they tried to get him back at the trade deadline, but Cleveland can make a couple adjustments. You know, they can make Mitchell have the ball in his hand, and that's on them. You know, that's on them. Mitchell can have the ball in his hand. Mitchell can have the ball in his hand. They can do that. Mitchell can have the ball in his hand. And they can play Harden a little bit off the ball. They can bring Schroeder and cut Harden minutes down. They can't play Schroeder, Harden, and Mitchell together defensively. You know, I don't know. That may or may not work. I would get out of try, but I think either put the ball in Donovan Mitchell's hand, take the ball out of Harden's hands, or go with Schroeder and Mitchell. I think that's the adjustment. But the number one adjustment is they got to play through Mobley or get Mobley going, get him in the pick and roll, pick and pop, isolate, you know, how they do Tobias, put him in the post, allow him to, you know, be closer to the basket and play through Mobley. Low post, mid post, pick and roll, pick and pop. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why they don't do that. Then allow Mitchell, take the vocal point off of Harden and put it in Evan Mobley. You paying him all this money. He's very talented. He just needs somebody that's going to put a battery in his back. That's going to call plays for him. You pay him all that money. I'm put him in the pick and roll. I'm putting him on the mid block, isolating him on the block in the mid block, allow him to work out, you know, post up, put his shoulder down, get a bucket. He too talented. But that was the issue about why he didn't go number one is because he didn't really have the energy. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really have a motor. I'm just like, why this guy ain't going number one over Cade? And they was like, yeah, they said he ain't got the motor. He ain't got the motor. So guys who don't really have that motor like him and Cat, you know, you got to get them going. You got to talk in their ear like they can't fuck with you. They ain't fucking with if you put KG Hard Mobley probably be MVP, bro. He can do everything Giannis can do and more. What's the difference is Giannis has just got a motor. He too nice. I'm like, man, give me the motherfucking rock. That's what I'm saying. Give me the motherfucking rock. That's what I'm telling him. Give me the motherfucking rock. You know, but, you know, we'll see what happens. But I feel like Pistons had a good one. Cade close to 4-5. The defense close to 4-5. And this series ain't over yet. The Pistons did what they were supposed to do. They held serve. They defended home court. Now, their mentality is got to be, you know, we got to punch Cleveland in the mouth game 1. We don't want to take the onslaught from Cleveland. We want to be the onslaught and kill their hope and go for the sweep. We want to go up 3-0. We don't want to, you know, risk going 5, 6, 7 games and risk injury. We had a hard series versus Orlando. Let's make quick work. Let's get rest. All right. And let's deliver the onslaught Saturday. That should be the message. Let's deliver the onslaught Saturday. That'll be my message to them. Let's deliver the onslaught. Let's not take their punch. I want to deliver the punch and end it. That should be the message. But hey, check out Detroit Pistons post-game reaction playlist, Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live and drop video. Appreciate the love, support. Hit the link in the description. You can find me everywhere. Other than that, peace.